What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Legit Whiskey Reviews. And today I'll be reviewing Sagamore Spirit Rye. This is the sherry cask finish. All right, so I got a good one today. So this is a brand new release. I think it's been out for maybe like a month or two. It could be a little bit longer, I'm not too sure, but this one's coming in at 106 proof, so 53% ABV. This one is coming out of the Sagamore distillery. I think that's what they're called, Sagamore Spirit distillery. But so they started distilling their own distillate. From what I heard, it's been like a year now. I think that it could be longer that they started distilling their own stuff, but they're still sourcing from MGP. So this one here is distilled in Indiana. So they're still sourcing from MGP. So this is their 4-year rye whiskey, and then it is finished for an extra 18 months in PX sherry cask, the Pedro Jimenez cask, which is a type of fortified wine from Spain. So this should be interesting. Sagamore Spirits, I know you guys have heard me talk a lot about them. They do all kinds of different types of ryes and finishes. I'm a big fan of their double oaked. That's probably one of my favorite double oaks on the market nowadays. And anything they do rye and their finishes, most of their finishes that I've tried, I think all of their finishes that I've tried I've been a big fan of. And so I'm really excited to get into this sherry finish because I know it's going to be good. All right, so here we go. By the way, the color on this, I usually don't go over color that much, but this is a dark color here. I'm guessing, from the sherry finish, and then also from, putting it from one barrel to another. I'm sure that adds to the color. So, but let's get into the nose here. So this, right away, the typical raisin note I'm getting from a sherry finish. So this is raisin, but it's also like a honey bomb. There's so much honey in here. There's a good amount of caramel too. There's some spice on the nose. I'm getting a good amount of oak. There is some chocolate on the nose. But you can definitely tell this is a sherry finish or some type of finish on it, because I'm getting a lot of that raisin, but the honey and the caramel note is really prevalent in here as well. But yeah, an excellent nose. There's a lot going on in here. I feel like every time I go into the glass to get another smell, it just changes to something else. But yeah, this smells really, really good on the nose. Let's go to the palate. Cheers. Oh, wow. So I was not expecting that. So on the palate, everything pretty much transferred from the nose to the palate, except I wasn't getting as much spice, got rice spice on the nose as I am on the palate. This is way spicier than I was expecting, which I love. I feel like people that don't enjoy ryes probably wouldn't enjoy this one, even though it has extra layers on it, because I feel this is like, if you take a rye on the spicy to more like on the bourbon side, this is gonna be more of a rye than other ryes, if that makes any sense. I'm not sure, but yeah, there's a good amount of spice. That honey really comes forward on the palate as well. That raisin note that I was getting is also, the sherry is coming through, but the sherry is not coming through I feel like I get it less on the palate and then on the nose. I feel like the sherry I feel like it's the right balance of the sherry influence or the sherry finish, because it's not overly done, especially on the palate. Like you get the sherry, but you get the rye as well. I feel like there's a good balance. It's not overly done, and I really enjoy that. All right, let's go for a second sip. This is really, really good. So I'm getting more of the same. It stays consistent. That spice lingers around. It's a good long finish. It's pretty velvety on the palate. I really love the balance of that sweetness from the raisin, the caramel, the honey, tons of honey, caramel. But then to go along with the spice, there's a little bit of chocolate on the back end of the palate, but I feel like I was getting more chocolate on the nose than the palate. But either way, this is excellent. I'm not sure how widely available. I think now it's being distributed through more of the country, so I think this is pretty available everywhere now. But it is a newer release, so it's slowly starting to make it to different states. But as far as here, I didn't have any trouble finding it. So I guess it just depends where you're at. But eventually, I think it'll get to most places that do carry Sagamore Spirits. So as far as the retail on this is going to be anywhere from 80 to, I've seen it as high as like 90 to 90, I think like 80 to 90 bucks is what I've seen it at. So, you know, it is up there, but you got to take into account this is a MGP distillate, so they're sourcing plus they're finishing for an extra 18 months, so that adds to the cost. So overall, I feel like it's like perfectly priced. And as far as the balance and the finish and everything that you get, like I said, every time I go into the glass to smell and to taste, I feel like I get something else different. So yeah, I feel like on the nose now, this is turning even more, I'm getting more of the sherry finish. It feels like it's getting sweeter on the nose, but not in a bad way. Let me try this one more time. Yeah, I love this. This is beautiful. So yeah, more of the same. It stays consistent. Certain whiskeys, when I find like when I go back to them, second, third sip, it starts to like tame down a little bit. You don't get like the same notes that you were getting when you took your first sip. But as far as this one here, it's just staying consistent. I'm not getting a lot of changes. Just consistent, spicy, sweet, just excellent. So as far as my final score, this didn't let me down. They never let me down as far as Sagamore. So this is an A+. Even with the price, it's just like, you know, what you get out of it. It's excellent. You go exploring, you get different notes every time you go back to it. And I feel like the more this opens up, the more I'm gonna get and the more it's gonna change for the better. So yeah, this is an A+. I do recommend this if you see it and you're a fan. I feel like the one caveat would be you have to be a fan of rye, because that spiciness is on another level as far as the spice, the rye spice in it. So if you like my content, remember to smash that like button, remember to subscribe, and keep it legit and do it for the love of whiskey. Cheers.